Hey everyone, this is Admiral Prince Eric here. Welcome back to my channel. So, in today's video, we're going for the discussions of the close test 14.9, which means gonna be a new content as well as the new ships coming from the latest World of Warships Twitch live stream from Thursday and Friday midnight. I see for that. Okay, before I would like to begin, so don't forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell notification icon. But this is gonna be the long contents because the new ship has been the dev blog posted by Friday midnight. So there will be a lot of them. So I hope you're gonna get ready. And I also the good news for that in the upcoming for the docket event is the Lucian B. It's a black version of the tier 10 from the docket event for 2 years ago. It's a Pan-Asian destroyer Lucian. So I hope you enjoy for that in this discussion. By the way, you should visit right now the World of Warships DevBlog, link in the description below. So you might check it out. But also for that in the historical ships based on into the game for that. Also, link in the description down below. So let's get started and let's go head on for the new contents. Okay, now for the close test 14.9 it's gonna be the Liberty Harbor, Lucian B, Dockyard, and more. Okay, I'm gonna be exciting for that is the upcoming docket event after Laffy. This time is a black version of the Pan-Asian destroyer Lucian. So keep an eye on it and I wanna read it on it entirely. Okay, let's go. Hello captains and welcome to this new development blog post. Today we'll be covering what you can expect to see in update 14.9. Okay, the Liberty Harbor. In update 14.9, we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the US Navy. To mark this historic milestone, we have put together a new event where, through your efforts and those of your fleet, you can construct the naval base Liberty Harbor. Along the way, you will learn about some key points of the USN's 258 years of history. You see these key points through the eyes of the U.S. naval officer reliving his childhood memories and recalling lessons and wisdom learned from his father. Okay, building Liberty Harbor. The base is made up of several upgradable areas, each with own purpose. To construct Liberty Harbor, you need to earn naval base supplies via combat missions and expeditions, which we'll discuss in more detail below. This way, you'll be able to build the whole base just by playing the game. Alternatively, there will be an option to purchase area upgrades for using doubloons. There will be 4 areas to build in Liberty Harbor: Naval Command and the Operation Command. As the Naval Command grants access to selection combat missions that can be completed in random and ranked battles, as well as brawls. And Operation Command though is grant access to selection combat missions that can be completed in operations, co-op battles, and temporary battle types. The number of combat missions you can take simultaneously in the Naval Command and the Operation Command areas is limited and depends on the level of the area. The military port lets you dispatch the ships to expeditions, and the fuel terminal lets you boost other areas. This allows you to take on additional missions in those areas. Expeditions will allow you to make use of the ships you have in your port. You can send these ships out on missions to gather additional naval base supplies to help you in progress. Each expedition has specific requirements regarding fleet power, tiers, ship types, and nations, and you need to assemble a fleet from available ships that meet those requirements. Fleet power is the sum of tiers of all ships assigned to an expedition. To complete each expedition, you need to assemble a fleet of sufficient power. Ships assigned to expedition become temporarily unavailable for new expeditions until the current one ends, but you can still use them in battles. It's possible to launch one or several expeditions at any time. The specific amount is determined by the level of the military port. You can send each expedition for either one or 3 days. The first one is better for those who play daily. A 3-day expedition requires less fleet power and gives you more total rewards, but fewer per day. Once you launch an expedition, it becomes locked in for a set number of days. You cannot cancel it. You will get naval base supplies for expedition immediately after you launch it. Okay, building each area from scratch will require 13 upgrades which will need to be built sequentially. There will be 2 types of upgrades. for some levels are as follows. Improve the area's visual and functionality. For example, it can let you take on more combat missions or assemble more expeditions and widen the selection. Grant points to progress through the event, and there will be 3 levels for each area, and the initial construction counts as the first one. For intermediate stages, slightly increase the area's profitability. Grant one element of a new thematic collection. There will be 10 intermediate stages for each area, 5 between the first and second levels, and another 5 between the second and third levels. Note that at the beginning of the event, you will get a limited amount of naval base supplies, enough to build the first level of one area. While building Liberty Harbor, you can choose which order to construct and upgrade its areas. That will allow you to focus on the battle types you enjoy the most. Combined with the income for expeditions, focusing on missions from just one area will allow you to get enough resources to build the entire base. Then the progress bar and rewards. As the base is constructed, you will unlock segments of the event's progress bar and piece together the US Navy's history from tidbits learned from the event protagonist's father, as well as various rewards. The progress and memories will be displayed by a separate page. Photo album. Among the rewards, you will find various thematic items. The Navy 250th Anniversary Flag, US Commander John Barry, blue, gold, and white permanent camouflage, Battle Line of the Pacific permanent camouflage for American battleship Top Tier Montana. It was created early this year by our players Allies USA. Remember for that in this mention a few months ago, this is the one from the World of Warships developers that decided to take a vote and create a new drawings for this permanent camouflage. Yes, I recognized through this at the time. The reward for completing finishing the base will be new epic Tier 8 American Premium Heavy Cruiser Bridgeport, which through effort and dedication you can get it for free. Bridgeport, however, is a member of the Oregon City class cruiser that was never built for the US Navy before the war's end though. Finally, there is also a new collection dedicated to 250 years of the US Navy. The Liberty Harbor collection consists of 60 elements, 41 which you can earn as you construct the base, while the remaining pieces can be exchanged for progress points after you build the base. Completing the collection awards you season US Commander David Farragut and an achievement. But you might recognize the David Farragut. The David Farragut is the first admiral of the US Navy, serving on the operations throughout the 18th century until his retirement after the American Civil War. You will be able to complete Liberty Harbor through combat missions and expeditions starting in the second week update 14.9 and running to the end of 14.10. During the first week of update 14.11, you will still be able to finish building the base using either unspent naval base supplies or doubloons. Also, in celebration of US Navy's birthday, we will prepare the following content. Navy 250 port decorated in honor of the USN anniversary. Navy 250 permanent camouflage for American battleship Indiana. Indiana is a member of the South Dakota class battleship 1939 design and is named after the US state of Indiana. Liberty Harbor container and Navy 250 premium container. New Epic Tier 9 American premium battleship Indiana will also be available in the thematic sequential bottles as well as an ammo bundle for real money. Please note the Liberty Harbor container will be distributed in later updates. Okay, this will be coming in this year for the Black Friday in the year 2025. But that's not for it. After the Dockyard Lafito, there will be another Dockyard campaign. This will be a Lucian B Dockyard. Remember 2 years ago is about to never claim for the ship because the whole thing is problem is a computer that maintain the problem. Now this is gonna be the second chance. We're going to claim right now for the Lucian in our spotlight on the port. So this will be an ever chance to do that in the near future. Okay, update 14.9 brings a new dockyard that lets you build a tier 10 Pan-Asian destroyer Lucian B. It's an identical part of Lucian. This is just the start of what you can expect as part of Black Friday events. Lucian B is a stealthy predator capable of dealing high damage per minute with her AP shells and additionally armed with deep water torpedoes. She also boasts good concealment and flat ballistics. However, her handling leaves much to be desired and she lacks a smoke generator. When it comes to consumables, she is equipped with high-accuracy search and heavy repair teams that will help you recover from fires that you don't go your way. The dockyard will have 35 paces with various rewards. 30 paces can be completed through dedicated combat missions. Another 5 paces will have to be purchased with doubloons, either individually or as part of starter packs. Each pace can be purchased for 1,350 doubloons. There will be a starter packs of 5 and 10 paces available for 5k and 9k doubloons respectively. They are only available until you complete 10 paces with combat missions. The dockyard will be available throughout updates 14.9 and most of 14.10 and will conclude 2 days before they release the update 14.11. So I want to send you the screenshot right now to the YouTube post. It's about the Lucian B. So basically the Lucian B is the same parameters for the Lucian that was introduced back in 2023. Some say that you might recognize in this previous dockyard, but this is gonna be another showcase impression right now in 1 week during the update 14.9 public test. So I hope you enjoy it for that in the upcoming video session. Battle chat update. There will be several upgrades to battle chat that are designed to bring quality of life improvements and let you customize it for yourselves. It's now possible to configure with whom you want to communicate in the chat. You change the settings, you need to click on the menu near it. Note that the following changes only affect text messages, so you will still be able to receive and send quick commands to everyone. With all players, only with teammates, you receive messages only from your team and division, and can send messages only to them. Only with your division, you receive messages only from your division, and can send messages to division members. Block all. You will not receive messages from anyone and can send you all messages to anyone. Additionally, it will be possible to customize how players are displayed in the chat. Player and ship names, player name only, ship name only. If you change the settings, the game will remember them and they will be used in following battles. Also, there will be additional improvements designed to reduce the amount of information that is less relevant to you as a player. If a player sends the same quick command several times in a row, it will be displayed in the chat only once. Tactical quick commands will disappear from the chat after some time, so that it is not filled with messages that are no longer relevant. Some quick commands directed to a specific player will be visible only to that player and the sender. For campaign updates, the update 14.9 will bring improvements to the campaign system. You will be able to complete some campaign missions in more battle types. Certain missions will be completable in operations and brawls, and we're also expanding the list of missions that can be completed in co-op battles. Access to the third mission slot, previously requiring an active premium account, will now be available for all accounts. Reduce the number of stars needed to reach the key mission in parts of campaigns, which were deemed more complicated than others. Reduce the requirements of certain missions which were deemed difficult. These changes are aimed at overall faster completion of campaign while adding quality of life improvements at the same time. In the content additions and changes, here's some extra things you can expect to be updated in update 14.9. The British commander, another historical commander, Cuthbert Collingwood, with individual voiceover. Cuthbert Collingwood is a famous British admiral that served during the Napoleonic Wars and alongside the Horatius Nelson during the Battle of Trafalgar, when he was killed in action at the time. After the Battle of Trafalgar, that he remained in service until his death in the 1800s. Grand Trial, 4-page flag and Grand Trial 4-page patch. Warships salute flag. 4 new ships based on existing models have been added to the game. Pignatapolis based on Essex, von Suckerhoff based on Schlieffen, Sushofen based on Manfred von Richthofen, and Pinatian based on Irian. Lastly, the contents of the following containers will be changed starting with update 40.9 per conditions. Additionally, victory tokens will be replaced with credits in War is Over premium container. So I hope you're gonna get ready for the new ships that was DevBlog posted back on February midnight. So I never watched the Twitch. So I never watched the World of Warships Twitch live streamer because I haven't slept. It's safe to say it's gonna be it's a time zone. The difference is that the Europe was on the evening time and out here in the Philippines was on the midnight. Okay, so let's get topic in this new ships DevBlog, but it will be a many of them. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, the close test 14.9 new ships DevBlog. Okay, so captains, in today's development blog, we are very pleased to announce several new premium ships, including one you'll be asking for a very long time. Okay, this is gonna be exciting for the new ships, guys, so I hope you enjoy, and there's a link down in the description below, so you might be wanting to see from the game into the historical ships in real life that was happened before, during, and after the Second World War. Okay, so let's start off with Tier 7 Pan-Asian cruiser Lanshaw, a hypothetical design of a cruiser with 180mm main battery guns, a development of the Soviet Project 26 ships. The cruiser was named after the ancient city in northwestern China, one of the country's industrial center and the capital of Gansu province. In battle, Lanshaw will primarily target enemy cruisers, thanks to her great ballistics for the tier. You will be able to land hits on enemies with relatively ease. This, together with good AP shell penetration, allows you to threaten even the heaviest battleships you may face. Her long main gun range, further complemented by high precision spotter consumable that grants the same improved dispersion effect as that found on Tier 9 cruiser Tianjin, will allow you to make the fullest use of your solid guns. However, she has a small HP pool and her protection is quite limited, meaning you will have to be cautious on incoming fire, as the enemy doesn't have to get lucky very often to sink you in short order. Combined with very average concealment for her tier, being able to go undetected might not be as reliable as you may wish. In summary, Lanshaw will excel in dealing with hostile cruisers, as well as being a useful supporting cruiser against battleships and destroyers. However, due to her fairly weak hull, enemy return fire will be quite effective in taking you out if you're not keeping track of what is going on around you. So the Lanshaw hit points is 31,500, 16mm plating, 30-second fire duration, and 0% torpedo protection. The main battery consists 3x3 180mm guns. The fire range 17.6 kilometers, HE shell 2,500 and 11% chances of fire. AP shell damage got 4,300. The reload time is 8.4 seconds. The Sigma is going to be 2.0. 180 degree turn time 22.5 seconds. 166 meter dispersion. The airstrikes using the depth charges. The reload time is about 25 seconds each. The bomb damage is 3,400. There will be only 2 available flights. For torpedoes, they're using the deep water torpedoes that cannot hit the destroyers and submarines. The maximum damage is 15,867. The range is 8 kilometers. The speed is 61 knots. Reload time 134 seconds. Torpedo detectability 0.8 kilometer. The secondary armament consists the 100mm 3x2, the 5.6 range, 3.8 reload time, and the damage is 1,400, 6% fire chance. The air defenses consist of 6x2 25mm, 3x4 37mm, and 3x2 100mm. The short range got 91, the mid range is 77, and the long range is 46. The single number explosion, the salvo, the damage within explosion 1,190. For the action zone time is 3.5 to 5.8 kilometer. The maneuverability will be a speed 35 knots, 690 meter 30 circle radius, and the rudder shift time 8.6 seconds. Concealment, we got a 12.7 kilometer surface detectability, 6.5 kilometer for air detectability, and a 7.1 kilometer detectability after firing main guns and smoke. So we got consumables for Lanshaw. We got the damage control party unlimited charges, hydroacoustic surge, and it can also exchange with the defensive AE fire, high precision spotter that improves access, the main battery range increase, and having a dispersion. Note, the Landshaw's permanent camouflage is still in work on progress. The next one is a German cruiser Nuremberg 44, Tier 7, a member of the Leipzig class cruiser. The last German light cruiser ever built, she was the longest serving major warship of the Kriegsmarine and the only such ship to see service post-war, albeit under the Soviet flag with the name Admiral Makarov. Her wartime service was relatively quiet, following significant damage from a torpedo hit launched by a British submarine HMS Salmon. She mostly served in the Baltic and around occupied Norway as an escort and trainee ship, until, like most surviving large Kriegsmarine warships, she was sent to the Baltic to provide fire support to German forces as the Red Army advances into Europe. Following the capitulation, she was handed over to the Soviet Union, which operated her until newer ships entered service, and she was scrapped around 1960s. Nuremberg 44 is an AP-focused cruiser with good pedestrians, penetration and improved ricochet angles, making her lethal against enemy cruisers, as well as a solid threat to enemy battleships. Her torpedo tubes, while limited in number, benefit from torpedoes with good range, speed, and damage. This allows her to be a notable threat to whatever she may face. Due to her short main battery range, Nuremberg 44 needs to get up close to do what she does best. However, she is extremely fragile for her tier, and it won't take many hits to send you back to the battle on screen. To prevent this outcome, the ship comes with both good base concealment as well as a short burst smoke generator, so use those tools wisely and choose your positions carefully to get the most out of your guns. Overall, Nuremberg 44 will have a vicious bite, but your jaw is made of glass. Keep your wits about you, as everything will want to try and take a piece out of you. The Nuremberg 44 is a characteristic as a direct upgrade, unlike in the game, for the Tier 6 German Tech 3 cruiser Nuremberg. So the survivability is mostly accounts for is the same parameters. The plating is 16mm, the fire duration 30 seconds, and a 7% torpedo protection. The same armament that was used for the Tech 3 ship counterpart for that. We got 150mm 3x3. The fire range is 14.5 km, 1800 HE damage, and 4104 AP damage. Reload time is 9.4 seconds, 180 degree turn time 23.7 seconds, Sigma is 2.0, 147 meter dispersion. The airstrikes using the depth charges. The reload time is 25 seconds each. You got 2 available blights and 3400 bomb damage. Torpedoes will be used the 2x3 533mm, the same parameters for this. 14,400 torpedo damage, range is 9.5 km, speed 65 knots, reload time 80 seconds, and torpedo detectability 1.3 km. The secondary armament uses the 88mm 4x2, the 6.3 maximum range, 4-second reload time, 1000 HE shell damage. They got 4% chance of fire. Air defenses consist of 4x1 14mm, 1x1 20mm, 10x2 20mm, 2x2 37mm, 2x4 20mm, and 4x2 88mm. For short range, we got 148, the mid range is 74, and the long range is 49. We got a single explosion in the salvo, 1120 damage. The action zone will be 3.5 to 4.6 kilometers. The maneuverability, we got 32 knots. Circle radius is 720 meters. Rudder shift time 7.6 seconds. The concealment, we got a surface detectability 10.5 kilometer. Air detectability 4.8 kilometer. And detectability after firing main guns of smoke in 6.1 kilometers. Unlike the Tech 3 cruiser Nuremberg, some consumables are the following on this list. Aside from the short burst smoke generator is available for this tier. The first slot is damage control party, unlimited charges, short burst smoke generator in the second slot. And the third slot that can be exchanged between the Hydro QC Search and defensive AE-5. The fourth slot on either using the catapult fighter or a spotting aircraft. Spotting aircraft, meanwhile, is going to be useful for that to extend duration the main battery fighter range. Oh, note, a permanent camouflage of number 44 is still a work in progress. Next one is the French battleship Roussillon. During the late 1930s, in light of increasing tensions around the world, mostly prompted the rise out of Hitler and the Nazis, the French Republic committed to the rearmament of all its military branches. This included the Navy, which was in process of building the 4 Richelieu-class battleships. Most notably, the 4 classes consist the Richelieu, the lead ship, the Jean Bart, Clemenceau, and Gascon. However, in light of intelligence regarding larger ships being considered by the Germans and Italians, they began work on the successor class. These efforts resulted in an Alsace class, but the design was never fully finalized due to the fall of France in 1940. One of the options considered called for these ships to be armed with 9 406mm guns arranged in 3 triple turrets in conventional configuration. Roussillon is based on this design variant. The ship is named after the historical province of the Mediterranean coast of France, formerly a part of the medieval Principality of Catalonia. Roussillon will be a ship with a mighty armament on a fragile hull. Her excellent accuracy for the French battleship, together with good shell ballistics, makes her the perfect choice for long-range engagements. Further improved her engine boost, she is able to redeploy rapidly to wherever her support is required. However, she suffers from significantly longer than average base reload time 36 seconds, meaning you will have to pick your shots carefully to make every salvo count. She does have access to main battery reload booster with a impressive 67% reload reduction and 5 charges, albeit at the cost of the longer cooldown of the consumable. Additionally, her weaker armor plating means that if you are subject to concentrated fire, you will not be able to last long. In summary, keep your distance and pick your targets carefully, as you won't get too many volleys in. You can use the main battery reload booster to maximize your impact at vital moments, but your weak armor will mean you won't last long in a sustained fight. Okay, so what is the French battleship Roussillon? The Roussillon is based on the Alsace class battleship Design B. They intended to use Alsace class battleship using the 406mm guns in triple turrets. So the battleship, so the design A of the Alsace class, they're using the 380mm in triple turrets. The Alsace class battleship design B, they use the 406mm guns. 406mm guns in triple turrets. And the Project C design this time is having a quadruple gun. They use the 380mm, making a total of 12 guns. Meaning that Alsace Bourgogne are most notable of them, alongside the premium ship the Flandre. Let's see about the Roussillon in this peculiar Alsace class battleship design B is based on. So regardless about in this recognized project of Marine Nationale before 1940s. Okay, so the survivability, unlike the most memorable the Alsace class battleship, the hit points is 69,000, which was the low HP at this time. Alongside for that, the 26mm plating armor, 60% fire duration, 44% torpedo protection. They use 3x3 406mm guns. The fire range is 23.4 km. HE shell damage 6,100 and got 49% chance of fire. We got 12,100 AP shell damage. Reload time 36 seconds. Definitely this is the worst ever reload of the non-related member of the Alsace class battleship. 30-second 180-degree turn time, 245-meter dispersion, and 1.90 sigma. For the airstrikes on the depth charges, the 30-second reload time each, they got 2 available flights. Bomb damage is 4,200. For secondary armament, unlike the most of used the Alsace class battleship, 12x2 100mm, 4-second reload time, 1,400 HE shell damage, 6% chance of fire. 152mm 3x3, 12-second reload time, 2,200 HE damage, and 12% chance of fire. A defense consists of 10 by 2 25mm, 16 by 2 37mm, and 12 by 2 100mm, and 3 by 3 152mm. For short range, we got 116, medium range 329, long range 126. We got 5 explosions in the salvo. Damage is 1,380, 1,330. The action zone from 3.5 to 5.8 kilometer. Speed is about 32 knots. Circle radius 910 meters. 16.6 second rudder shift time. The concealment we got is 16.6 kilometers. Air detectability 10 kilometers. And detectability after firing main guns or smoke 16.2 kilometers. Unlike most of the Alsace class battleship, some say that Alsace are always thus for that the damage control party will be unlimited charges, repair party, engine boost, and the fourth slot is the main battery reload booster. The fifth slot consists the catapult fighter and the spotting aircraft. So when you use the main battery reload booster, fighting counts the first salvo shots. They will use this consumable, meaning that you can go on the reduces reload time booster will be boosted enough until the ability ends. Okay, so let's move on. So definitely the Lucilio is a non-member of the Alsace class battleship, but it is truly based on the design B. They implemented to use the 406mm guns on a triple turret, in one triple turret gun. Alright, so the next one is the Tier 10 German cruiser Bremen. A further development of the powerful light cruiser design based on the Admiral Hipper class Cruiser King, which was recognized in-game mines, with greater displacement and a main battery in 4 gun turrets, commonly known as the super mines as I call it. The cruiser inherited her name from her predecessor SMS Bremen, which perished in the Baltic Sea during the First World War, and was in turn named after the city in northern Germany, one of the country's most important ports and shipbuilding centers. Bremen played very much like the Tier 8 mines, thanks to her battery of 16 150mm guns in 4 quadruple turrets, with the improved penetration of HE shells allowing her to effectively engage all manner of targets. Her AP shells also benefit from very good penetration for their size, making this ammo option effective in suitable scenarios. She is also equipped with large number of torpedo tubes boasting long range. You will primarily wish to fight at long range, thanks to her shells, flat ballistics and torpedo range to compensate for her large size, making Bremen more vulnerable in close-range encounters. Her armor scheme and improved German hydroacoustic surge mean you can press the attack when required. However, her poor concealment and below-average handling make it difficult for her to engage in close combat without attracting enemy fire. Her consumable setup is your typical lineup of a repair party, damage control party, a choice between fighter or spotting aircraft, as well as the choice between defensive AE fire and hydroacoustic surge. In summary, Bremen is your classic long-range HE support cruiser with the tools to close the range if required. Just be aware of your poor concealment and large size, as you will be a primary target of those you do wish to engage. Okay, Bremen is gonna be our super mines. Survivability 51,700, 25mm plating, 30-second fire duration, 60% torpedo protection. The main battery uses same armament for mines, but this time it's a quadruple gun turret, 150mm, 18.1 kilometer fire range, 1,700 HE damage, 8% chance of fire, 3,900 AP shell damage, 6% reload time, 23 second, 180 degree turn time, 158 meter dispersion, and the sigma is 2.05. The airstrike's depth charges, there will be 2 available flights per each. 30-second reload time, the bomb damage is 4,900. Torpedoes, we got 4x5, 533mm. The damage is 30,700. 12 km torpedo range, 64 knots, 190 seconds, and or 1.3 kilometer torpedo detectability. The secondary armament used 10 by 2 128 millimeter, 8.3 kilometer range, 4-second reload time, 1500 HE shell damage with 5% fire chance. A defenses consist the 128 millimeter 10 by 2, 30 millimeter 18 by 2, and 8 by 2 55 millimeter. The short range is about 350, medium range 315, long range will be 140. The 6 novel explosions in salvo and got 1610 damage. Action zone from 3.5 to 6 kilometers. The maneuverability got 32.5 speed, 840 20 circle radius, and 11.6 rudder shift time. Concealment we got 16.2 kilometers. Air detectability 9.9 kilometers. And detectability after firing main guns of smoke 9.8 kilometers. So we got consumables are available in this ship. You got the first slot damage control party, you have unlimited charges, repair party, high accuracy search, and can also exchange with defensive aim fire. The catapult fighter, and you can also exchange also with a spawning aircraft. Alright, the next one is a tier 10 Japanese hybrid battleship Aki, a new mighty Japanese beauty. Originally created from World of Warships Legends, comes to our virtual seas. Okay, Aki is what if close for that supposedly non-member of the Yamato class battleships, but ship is named after historical province, but it's also for that names after a member of the Satsuma class battleships. What if the Japanese Navy had given a Yamato class battleship the same conversion they had Ise? Well, that is Aki. Ship inherited her name from a battleship that served in the Imperial Japanese Navy in the early 20th century, which is a member of the Satsuma class, which was named in honor of the historical province in the west of Honshu Island, the modern-day Hiroshima Prefecture. Aki boasts immensely powerful 460mm guns in her forward pair of triple turrets. They will allow her to engage enemy target effectively, and due to their forward placement, you do not have to risk exposing the famous Yamato class cheek to bring all the firepower into action. She is the most battleship-like of the hybrids, returning her main gun's ability to end almost any fire with only a few direct hits. Compared to Yamato herself, her main guns are more accurate and have a faster reload time, 28 seconds. However, they have a shorter range and her turrets suffer from slow traverse speed, so you will struggle to react to surprises. Just have the minute to be wait. Alright, so let's continue. The key element of Aki is her access to a HE dive bomber squadron, giving her the ability to target ships outside her main battery's range. This squadron's strength lies in the large number of bombs it drops, as well as these bombs' decent damage and good penetration, thought their long fall time is a drawback. Aki has a rather weak citadel, and her armor is solid, and she comes equipped with a repair party. She is best suited for captains who prefer to play it safe and keep the distance from enemies. That said, thanks to the placement of her main guns, a bow-in push remains an option if the situation demands it, but be warned, it's likely to be a one-way trip. In general, Aki will perform a role similar to that of Yamato and Louisiana, with the ability of strongly influence a battle through her powerful main battery guns, but with additional capability to target ships outside her main gun range. Okay, so the Aki, a tier 10. So this is now a member of the Yamato class battleship. Survivability, the hit points is gonna be the same. 97,200. 32mm plating, 55% torpedo protection, 60% fire duration. The same armament will use the Yamato class battleship 460mm, but this time is the concentrated on the front, but in the absence store in the back. 26.1 km fire range, 7,300 HE damage with a 35% chance of fire, 14,800 AP shell damage. Reload time 28 seconds, 180 degree turn time 60 seconds, and 246 meter dispersion and the 2.1 sigma. Next one for the dive bombers. They're using the aircraft for that. In limited options, they go on the hybrids. The squadrons will be hit points 1550, the cruising speed 133 knots, the maximum will be 173 knots. You got 8 size attacking flights, 8 squadrons consistent. The restoration time is about 200 seconds. Range is about 10 km detectability. The 8 will be another aircraft on deck. The bombs and payload using the high explosives, 5,500 damage, bomb damage with a 20% chance of fire. For the airstrikes using the depth charges, the 30-second reload time per each. They got 2 available flights. The bomb damage is 4,900. The secondary armament is usually most notably the Yamato class battleship armaments. They're using 2x3 155mm. The 12 second reload time and HE damage 2,600 and 10% chance of fire. The 127mm 12x2 got 7.5 second reload time. The HE damage 2,100 and 8% chance to cause fire. The air defenses consist the uses of the Yamato class battleship armaments. The 36x3 25mm, 14x1 25mm, 12x2 127mm, 14x2 14mm, and 2x2 13.2mm. Short range will be 295, mid range 250 seats. The long range is 140. Numbered explosions in Sabo will be the 4, 1,600 damage. The action zone will be at 3.5 to 5.8 km. The speed will about the 27 knots, 920 meter circle radius, and the 80.7 second rudder shift time. The concealment will be the surface detectability 17.6 kilometers, air detectability 10 kilometers, and detectability after firing main guns and smoke will be 19.4 kilometers. Okay, we got consumables are available, but without available for the catapult fighter and the spotting aircraft. The first slot will be the damage control party, and the second slot repair party. Next one is American cruiser Hawaii. Okay, Hawaii is a member of the Alaska class cruiser, the large cruiser design of the US Navy, to counter against the Imperial Japanese Navy's as the design B-61 battle cruiser. Notably in-game was Asuma and Yoshino. Hawaii was the third of 6 planned Alaska-class large cruisers of the US Navy. She was the first US Navy ship named for the then territory of Hawaii before statehood in 1959. Due to her wartime priorities, work of her didn't begin until 1943, meaning she was incomplete at war's end, and her construction was ultimately cancelled in 1947. However, as her large hull had not been fitted out with many of her systems, she was a prime candidate for conversions into other roles. One such role that was considered was that of large command ship under the code SCB-83 from August 1951. This would have seen her superstructure completely rebuilt and her armament to consist of numerous modern 127mm and 76mm guns, as well as numerous radars and advanced communication equipment so she could coordinate amphibious landings and fleet command. This option, among others, was rejected, and she was scrapped in the 1960s. In battle, Hawaii will take advantage of her recently tanky Alaska-class hull with its high amount of HP and solid armor protection. Her main battery guns boast good reload speed and solid ballistics. She also benefits from alternative fire mode, which provides a major boost to reload speed at a cost of significantly reduced main battery range and outer ballistics that make it difficult to shoot accurately at long distances. Her set of consumables includes a surveillance radar and repair party in the separate slots, as well as the choice between standard hydrokinetic surge and defensive A5. Her downsides, as you can spend, as her sheer size for what is essentially a supersized take on tier 10 cruiser Austin, and poor concealment. Lastly, penetration of her HE shells leaves much to be desired. Overall, Hawaii will serve as a rapid-fire support cruiser for your team, with the ability to maximize her damage output in close range. Engagement by her alternative fire mode, combined with her consumable set, she will be able to both support your team and mitigate her vulnerability to torpedoes due to her large size. Unlike most of the members of the Alaska class, so you might recognize in the game as Alaska. So Alaska, they use 306mm guns, but Hawaii, that though, they uses the 127mm guns. Alright, so let's talk about survivability. Hit points is 71,100, 27mm plating, 60% fire duration, because this is a large cruiser, 30% torpedo protection. The 12 by 2 127mm guns, the range is 80.3 kilometers, 1800 HE damage with a 9% chance of fire, 2400 AP damage, 6% reload time, 4.5 second 180 degree turn time, maximum dispersion 159 meters, and sigma is 2.05. For alternative fire mode, they use the reload times about 3 seconds. The shots in the series will be a single. The burst interval will be 1 second. The airstrikes using the 2 available glides, reload time 30 seconds each. Bomb damage is 4,900. Air defenses consist of 6 by 2 76.2mm and 12 by 2 127mm. The mid range will be 340 and the long range is 308. The 11 number of explosions in the salvo, and the damage within the explosion 1,750. The action zone from 3.5 to 6 kilometers. The maneuverability will be the speed 33 knots, circle radius 840 meters, rudder shift time 13.8 seconds. For concealment, we got 15 kilometer surface detectability, air detectability 9.3 kilometer, and a 8.2 kilometer detectability after firing main guns and smoke. Okay, the next one is consumables. We got the damage control party, unlimited charges, repair party in the second slot, hydroacoustic surge, and can also exchange with a defensive aim fire. And the fourth slot will be used as surveillance radar. Now, the last topic for the close test 14.9 new ships is another historical ship. It's a French submarine Sukhov, a top tier. This is might recognize for Leicester Gaming with Calabri. The one, the only, Sukhov was the only member of her class built by the Marine Nationale, originally as a way to get around treaty limitations on cruisers, but a large submarine with a similar firepower. The submarine is named after Robert Sukhov. So the Sukhov can be used as a submarine with the use of torpedoes as well as the main battery guns, meaning the recognized of that is a submarine cruiser. Her most notable and obvious feature was her 203mm gun turret, using the same weapons as those found on French interwar heavy cruisers. Eventually, the loophole Sukhov exploited was closed by subsequent treaties, but she was retained and operated throughout the interwar period. During this time, it was determined that she would be able to surface and fire the weapon in just over 3 minutes. After France was fallen to the Germans, she fled to England, where she was seized by the British Navy and eventually turned over to Free French naval forces. In February 1942, the submarine went missing. Subsequent investigations determined that it may have been the result of a collision with a merchant ship, or even a case of friendly fire by a patrolling PBY anti-submarine aircraft. As the wreck has not been discovered, it is still unknown what caused her loss. To find out more article the French submarine Sukhov on the Wikipedia article linked in the description below. Sukhov combines the general playstyle of a destroyer with the ability to dive rather than deploy a smokescreen. Her characteristics lend her to play primarily on the surface thanks to her large gun armament, improved French engine boost, and a large amount of hit points. Her twin 203mm gun turret is supplemented with a main battery reload booster typical for ships of the French Navy. Sukhov really is one of a kind. She'll also be the first submarine to have access to the ASW airstrike. On the other hand, she doesn't have access to hydropone, and her submarine surveillance consumable has reduced parameters. Her torpedo armament is also unique for the submarine. Surkov is the first submarine in our game that does not have access to acoustic torpedoes or sonar. She has 4 forward torpedo tubes and 2 stern-based triple launchers capable of firing to each side, but only when surface. This allows her to press a limited torpedo thread from her broadside to help compensate for her poor agility. Her torpedoes in general have good damage, solid range, and decent speed for her tier, but a long reload. In general, Surkov is a well-armed and versatile vessel when operating on the surface with her solid gun and torpedo armament, allowing her to engage all manner of targets effectively. Submerging should generally be reserved for stealthy movements, since a large part of Surkov's toolkit becomes unavailable underwater. Now, the French submarine Surkov, the hit points is 31,600, the 19mm plating. The dive capacity for the 260 units, the depletion for 1 unit, the dive capacity recharge rate per 1 unit, the artillery using 1x2 203mm, the 13.5 firing range, 2800 HE damage, 15% chance of fire, 4800 AP shell damage. Reload time is 8 seconds. 180-degree turn time is about 10 seconds. The sigma is 2.0 and the dispersion is 160 meters. The X-Rise uses the depth charges. The reload time is 45 seconds. The range is 6 kilometers per a single ones. 4,900 bomb damage. For torpedoes, they use the bow and stern torpedo tubes. All in all, for the bow will be 550mm and the stern is 400mm. Damage will be 16,333, 12 km torpedo range, 69 knots, 69 knot torpedo speed, the reload time 70 seconds. Torpedo detectability 1.4 km. Number of stern torpedo tube loaders will be the 2, and the number of bow torpedo tube loaders will be 4. The maneuverability got 32 knots speed, 610 meters circle radius, and 9.7 second rudder shift time. For concealment, we got 5.7 km surface detectability, 2.2 km air detectability, and a 3.7 km detectability after firing main guns to smoke. For consumables of the Surkov, the fast damage control team, they will use a limited charges damage control party. Second slot using submarine surveillance. The third slot will be a main battery leader booster, and the fourth slot is an engine boost. We are also ready to show the image of the previously announced Comandante Aguirre, so be sure to check it out though. Additionally, we should like to review the rarity of the following ships. For Epic though, it's going to be the Bridgeport, the Indiana, as well as the Lucian B. For Rare will be a Tier 10 Ocean. Please note that all information in the development blog is preliminary. Announced adjustments and features may change multiple times during testing. The final information will be published on our game's website. So I hope that's conclusion right now for the close test 40.9 so far that I read it for that for too long. So I hope you enjoyed for that, and be sure to check it out immediately via link in the description below for the Warships DevBlog. So get ready for that in this moment. Okay guys, I hope you enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and click the bell on the notification icon, so don't miss out up ahead in the new videos coming up right away. And for some ship gameplays and something goes on new content. Okay guys, I hope you enjoy, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out guys.